Welcome back. November belongs to the kids as we mark Children's Month. The future of any nation, children deserve a chance to thrive and dream. Former President Nelson Mandela had a special place in his heart for children. He went on to establish the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund. Let's chat with the fund's CEO, Dr. Ncube-Nkomo, about its role in developing children. Good morning, Doc. Thank you so much for your time and welcome to the South African Morning. Can you just tell us, in terms of what's happened in the last 2 decades, let's say, how has the fund transformed the lives of children across South Africa?
Good morning, Masiko. Thank you for having us on the show to talk about November being Children's Month. And I think for us in South Africa, every day should be Children's Day until we can get to a point where children are heard, where children are safe, and where their rights are upheld. And in the last 30 years, we've really strived to put to life and keep alive the vision of our founder, which is changing the way society treats its children and its youth. We've partnered with thousands of community-based organizations who live in communities, which is where children are to be found, to ensure that we can look after children from the time that they are in vitro until they are, 3 years old, ensuring that they meet developmental milestones from cognitive and physical development. We have ensured that we work with partners to create safety networks for children in communities, and we've also ensured that families can participate economically, because we cannot achieve any of the things we want to do if there is no money flowing into the household. And importantly, to ensure that children's voices are heard through child participation, and we do that predominantly in partnership with the Department of Social Development through the Nelson Mandela Children's Parliament.
Yeah. What are the stumbling blocks that still exist?
The stumbling blocks are really the weak safety nets, the weak linkages in the systems, because children live in homes, and those homes are in communities, and there are schools. And when those systems don't work, the systems of referral from either, a safety perspective or a health perspective, then we drop the ball. So we're finding that a lot of times, what we see play out in the lives of children is a reflection of what's going on in their homes, is a reflection of what they're seeing in their communities. And as long as the parent, or the caregiver, which is the primary school for a child before they go into any other center, as long as they're not building the values of empathy, of integrity, of self-respect, respect for others, what we're going to see play out in society is a total disregard for life and the safety of others.
Looking at the work that you have done, and then what you've mentioned, for instance, the problems being in the home, which are communities, schools, which are in communities, etc. This was a vision by the former President Nelson Mandela. Do you think we've upheld that vision, not only as the fund, but as South Africa?
I think in South Africa, it's appalling how we have failed to uphold the vision, which is really to create a society where we're investing in our biggest asset, which is our children. I mean, we've got the biggest child murder rates in the world. Our levels of violence against children are appalling. The children in South Africa are as traumatized as children that would be living in a war situation. And so I can, with all confidence say we have failed. But that doesn't mean we should lie in a position of failure and not get ourselves up, dust ourselves up and start to do better. There's always an opportunity to do better. And for children in South Africa, that needs to start now, with every single caregiver, every adult saying, not in my environment will a child be abused in any manner, shape or form, and I fail to do something about it.
I like what you just said, Doc, in terms of not giving up and that there's still a window of opportunity to do better. Can you give us practical examples for the parents, the sisters, the aunts, the fathers of those opportunities that we can seize?
So I think the first thing that we need to stop doing is saying government has taken away my right to discipline a child. and by that we mean we should be hitting our children. We should really be investing in non-violent ways of disciplining children, because government has not taken away that duty from parents to instill discipline. But discipline should not be harmful. It should not be hurtful. We should be creating spaces to have conversations with our children and to also hear where they're coming from, because we're raising children in a world that we've never experienced before. The levels of mental health in children is rising. The levels of unsafety are rising, and so we need to be as intentional as we possibly can to take the time to understand what the children are going through and to work together as societies to find the solutions to create safer environments for them.
And what about government? You know, we always see pledges and campaigns, you know, pledges being signed, etc. And it's really good on paper. But what is the immediate action that you would say we need to embark on as South Africa, and particularly as government, to turn the tide now?
To make sure that the systems are working, that systems are operating, to make sure that when a child is harmed, all the different departments that need to kick into place do so working in an integrated manner. As long as the systems don't work, it doesn't matter that we have what we have on paper. We will continue to have children that are harmed and create another generation of traumatized people who then pass that trauma onto the next generation. So the systems must work. But then for those systems to work, it means that the families, the communities, the schools must be prepared to go to duty bearers and to make the necessary reports around where children are being harmed.
And it means we must speak up when there's a law about statutory rape, and that you must report it. And police cannot turn you back and tell you that a parent has to come report it, because as an adult, you have that duty, and police have a duty to do investigations and make arrests. Thank you so much, Doc, for your time. So many issues we can discuss about how we treat our children in South Africa. Dr. Ncube-Nkomo is the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund CEO.